Hello, it's Jim Hutchins for the Jerusalem Connection Spot Report for this week. Today is Tisha B'Av. It's the 9th day of the Jewish month of Av. And it's a day when remembrance and memorials are made to the great catastrophes that has faced the Jewish people over the years. The Crusades, the Inquisition, the Nazis, the pogroms of Russia, the terrorists. But a special remembrance is made for the destruction of the temple in 586 BC by the Babylonians, and then once again Herod's temple destroyed in AD 70. It's a day of mourning. It's a day where 25-hour fast from eating and drinking is proclaimed. And it's a day to remember these great catastrophes that faced the Jewish people. I was struck with what one rabbi said. He said, in light of these catastrophes, it has removed a degree of certainty that we once had in determining God's will. God is still present in the world, of course, but Jews believe He is hidden from us in a way that He was not before. Hidden from us today in a way that He was not hidden before because of these great catastrophes. That's a remarkable statement. That's almost a confession, really. As a result of my recent visit to Israel, I'm convinced that Israel has the capacity militarily to contain, or as they say, manage the conflict that the opposition faces, that they face with regard to their enemies. As a matter of fact, Zechariah speaks of a time in Zechariah chapter 12. He speaks of the leaders of Judah who will be like a fire pot and a wood pile, like a blazing torch among sheaves, and they will consume right and left. All the surrounding peoples in Jerusalem will remain intact. That's a great victory. But then comes Zechariah chapter 14, where Jerusalem is surrounded. God says, I will gather all the nations of the world, and they will lay siege to Jerusalem. And it will look as though catastrophe, and Israel will be destroyed. Another catastrophe like Tisha B'Av. As a matter of fact, Moses says this, in Deuteronomy chapter 32, the Lord will judge His people. He will have compassion on His servants when He sees their strength is gone and no one is left, slave or free. When it looks as though Israel will be destroyed, that the Jewish people will be eliminated once and for all. Hitler's final solution will be brought into effect. That's when the Messiah comes. It says in Zechariah chapter 14, then His feet shall stand on the Mount of Olives. And Moses also ends that chapter by saying, rejoice, O nations, with His people, for He will avenge the blood of His servants. He will take vengeance on His enemies, and He will make atonement for His land and for His people. There'll be difficult days, catastrophes even ahead for the Jewish people, but ultimately there is victory, because the Messiah will rule and reign in power and authority, and justice and peace will be supreme. Od Yavo Shiloh, until Messiah comes. Shalom Aleichem.